Welcome back to more mother-in-law stories where users share their crazy experiences with their own mother-in-laws, and we might even feel a little bit better about our own mother-in-law. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled "Future Mother-in-Law Wants Me, 20 Female, to Kiss Her Butt." Before I start, I wanted to give a few personality traits. I am 20 female, have terrible social anxiety because I was grounded or not allowed to leave the house except for school, so I never learned how to function with people properly. It never helped that I got bullied, which drew me more into my own bubble. I don't usually talk to people unless necessary, and it takes a long while for me to warm up to someone. My fiancé, 23 male, is more social than me, but normally had to stay at home to watch his younger siblings, so he is a gamer, and while he does have friends, he normally stays home. I have been with my fiancé for 6 years. A year into the relationship, his mother asked him to move in with her because she needed help with his little brother. We were separated for 2.5 years. It was tough, but we got through it. However, through that time, his mother kept telling him, "I am cheating, I'm not worth it, he should leave me," etc. Luckily, since he knows me, he knew I would never cheat, and I ignored her. After those couple years, his mom moved to another state, his stepdad is military, and he stayed where he currently is. He got an apartment for us and we have lived together since. In the phone calls she has with him, she still berates me about every little thing. Here is the thing, he wants his mother and I to have a relationship. She already decided she hated me before she even met me. When she did meet me and I was not outgoing and all over the place, it solidified her opinion about me. I sent her a message to attempt to start a relationship, and this woman called my fiancé and complained about how I was not proper enough. He forgot to mention she likes to be called ma'am. Here are some highlights of what she is like. Number 1, she told my fiancé, "She should kiss my ass because I gave birth to you. I'm the reason she's happy." Number 2, she told him, "I will never approve of her." Number 3, she watches the damn Kardashians. She loves drama. Number 4, she hates that I am not social, even though her son is not either. Number 5, she told him that I am the one who has to try to build a relationship with her, meaning it will just be ass kissing and no relationship. My fiancé tells me I need to just kiss her butt because he had to do it with my family, which I won't deny, but they didn't expect him to grovel. He wants us to get along and says I won't have to talk to her except on the holidays. I love him and I want to make him happy. Any advice on how/what I should say when I decide to call her? Even if it doesn't go over well, he cannot say that I am putting in 0 effort. And a user in the comments said, "Yeah, so I have a peanut allergy and I just want to provide the perspective that having an anaphylactic reaction hurts, and I'm pretty sure I have some level of PTSD from the reactions that I had as a child. I cannot reiterate enough that it is painful. My skin was on fire, headache like I had a knife through both eyes, body pleading for air that I couldn't get. This is more than a 'we will have to go to the hospital and have him fixed' problem. This is an 'she will cause your child agony' problem. You are not just protecting him from a clinical list of symptoms and consequences, you are protecting him from suffering needlessly. And guys, I'm curious, in case you have any sort of allergy, did you ever have any run-ins with people who thought that your allergy is simply fake? Please let us know in the comments and tell us how it went. Update to the future mother-in-law story. Hello, I figured I would post an update as well as give a little more insight. My fiancé already has a strained relationship with her, so he rarely calls her. He knows she is a witch and a hypocrite. He explained to me that she has that personality with all females, hence why no one likes her, but she cannot fathom why. I spoke to my best friend and gave her a summary of the post. She agrees, and while she loves us, it won't end until he confronts his mother. I informed him about the post and told him that he is enabling her behavior. At first he was confused, but I explained to him that even though he tells her to stop, she bulldozes over him and continues to talk crap, which then enables her as he doesn't put his foot down. He now recognizes this and apologized for being cowardice and trying to avoid the inevitable confrontation. Next, he told me that he realized we would never have a relationship after she said that she is the queen and "your girlfriend needs to understand that," a convo I was not there for. He knew then that his mother's narcissistic attitude will never change and he wouldn't be able to change her view of me. He told me he doesn't expect us to have a healthy relationship and was remorseful that he worded himself poorly. We came to the middle ground that I don't have to talk to her or have a relationship with her. He will call her and draw the line. If she cannot respect it, then he will go no contact. He chooses me over his mother. I love this man and I am able to talk to him about anything, so I am happy we were able to reach a middle ground that we both agree on. Thank you all for the advice. And well guys, I'm not sure if you would necessarily agree, but in my neck of the woods we would say that this husband might have at least an aluminum spine or maybe even a titanium spine. It's nice to see that he stands up for his fiancée. And in case you enjoy the mother-in-law stories and have watched until here, please don't forget to like the video and maybe even post some star emojis in the comments if you want to go the extra mile to support my channel. Thank you very much in advance, your help means a lot to me and it really helps my channel tremendously. And the next one is titled, "My female 28 mother-in-law won't take my kids, 4 years old, anaphylactic peanut allergy seriously." I will try to keep this as short as possible, sorry for mobile formatting. I've never really seen eye to eye with my mother-in-law because she is very strict and old-fashioned. She's like this with all of her grandchildren. She will do things like yell at them for not sitting up straight, elbows on the table, etc. I understand that children need discipline, but I prefer a gentler approach with my son. I have asked her many times to not do that, but my husband insists I let it go, so I have tried to. Until now, my son was officially diagnosed with a life-threatening peanut allergy and we have an EpiPen Junior for him. She insists that when she was younger people didn't have allergies, and if they did, they would get rid of them via exposure and that I am just babying him. I have explained to her that his allergy is very real and potentially deadly. She has basically scoffed it off and the last time she came to pick him up, she took his EpiPen/fanny pack from around his waist and threw it on my driveway, saying she has taken him for ice cream many times and nothing has ever happened and he doesn't need it with him. I told him she could no longer take him and brought him inside. She left and called my husband. She cried to him saying I accused her of being an unfit grandmother, which I admittedly did because my child's safety is my priority and apparently not hers. Now my husband wants me to apologize to her. He says she would take him to the hospital if he ingested peanuts and that I am overreacting. I kindly explained to him that EpiPens save lives because anaphylaxis means your airways are narrowing, your breathing is becoming blocked, etc. and time is of the essence because it happens so quickly. So now my stance is no EpiPen means no taking my child anywhere. And by the way guys, props to the OP, aka the mother of the child. She seems to be a very good mother, much unlike the mother-in-law. Anyway, she is even insisting on taking him to a baseball game which tends to have a lot of peanuts everywhere. I asked that she find a peanut-free zone, which the stadium does offer, but she once again belittled the idea and insisted he would be fine. I am getting really tired of her treatment towards my son, and my husband has always been a mama's boy who thinks mama can do no wrong and defends her endlessly. He says he turned out just fine being raised by her and I worry too much. Would it be awful if I insist she only see him if I am present? Am I completely unreasonable and overreacting? Is there anything else I can do so that they will understand the severity or at the very least take some more precautions? Edit/mini update. First of all, I did not expect this to get so much attention. Thank you to each and every one of you who took time out of your day to reply. In case you missed it, I have left for now, removed my son from the situation and I am now currently staying at my brother's house. At least for a few days until things cool off and I am able to have a sit-down discussion with my husband and his mother. In the meantime, I have sent them both links to the Reddit threads with anecdotal experiences where anaphylaxis occurred, like the heartbreaking coconut oil one. Unfortunately, this is not really a case of not being educated on the subject. My husband has been to the same appointments I have with my son. He just chooses to throw all his knowledge out the window to appease his mother and avoid defying her. Some people have accused me of being a helicopter mom or trying to demonize my mother-in-law, and given the circumstances that is fine. Maybe I am overreacting or being overbearing, but as long as my son is breathing, then I am okay. I am not even a stay-at-home mom. We have an incredible nanny while I work FT who respects my kid's allergies and adores him. In the past, I have tried my best for my mother-in-law to get quality time with her grandson. Although we may not see eye to eye, I have wanted him to grow up knowing grandma, but I am not jeopardizing my son's safety in order to be socially correct. Lastly, I just want to say my mother-in-law has diabetes and is against modern medicine and sees a naturopath. She won't take metformin or insulin and thinks everything can be treated herbally. So I don't think having a sit down with an actual physician explaining epinephrine and anaphylaxis to her is going to help much. She is very strong in her beliefs. I did text her asking if she would be open to just hearing a doctor out, and she is yet to reply. My husband has replied saying he doesn't have time to read Reddit threads or watch educational videos, so I told him to find time or he won't be getting any time with my son until he does. If he is going to be so careless, I will end up dealing with this legally. Thanks again everyone, words cannot express my gratitude. I will update with a new thread eventually. And guys, unfortunately there are no further updates to the story, so that is just how it is. Very sad. I'm just kidding guys, you are on my channel and obviously there will be a final update. Hey folks, it's been half a year since my last post and a lot of people asked for an update, so as promised, here we go. A couple of weeks after the initial incident, my husband asked me to reconcile. I agreed on the basis that he see an allergist and pediatrician with me and actually really listened to and learned fully about the severity of the anaphylactic allergy. He agreed, we did just that. He had been to the same appointments as me prior, but I felt he never really listened, and this time he did. We also went through a lot of the resources you guys shared on my last post together. He got way better with things for a while, he took it more seriously, and we gradually started incorporating supervised mother-in-law visits again, because unsurprisingly she was begging to see our son. Her behavior did not improve. She refused to hear out any professional opinions due to her naturopathic beliefs. Because of this, I did not let her spend time with him unless I was there for myself, strongly believing that she could still persuade my husband to her side of things. This worked okay for a while. She would occasionally say snarky things towards me, but nothing crazy. Until one time we were in the kitchen, I gave my son some homemade cookies in a bowl, cookies I made with certified peanut-free ingredients as per the packaging. Mother-in-law visited while my husband was at work. She walked in and saw my son eating cookies and inquired about them. I explained I made them. She went to grab the bowl of cookies, just two, but gave him a bowl to help with crumbs from him. He tightened his grip, so she slapped his hand, grabbed the bowl and threw it against the wall. She was yelling about how she doesn't get to make him any desserts anymore. I calmly explained she knows why this is. She said packaging can say it is from a peanut-free facility but be wrong and still have cross-contamination, that I was an idiot and that I didn't care about my son. My son was crying his eyes out at this point, so I asked her to leave and told her she could come back later and we could discuss it with my husband present. We did, and we sat down to discuss things, and after a few minutes she said, "You're lucky that we haven't started exposure therapy on your son yet." They hadn't gotten a chance to since I was, to my knowledge, there whenever she was. My husband's face went flushed, he fell completely silent. I asked for clarification. I had to be mishearing things, there was no way. She explained that my husband and her agreed that they would gradually start introducing peanut products to my son to build up his immunity against the allergy. Mind you, they planned on doing it in my kitchen with his EpiPen available, but not medically supervised or in a safe environment. I know on my last post a lot of people mentioned this works for a lot of allergies and they are implementing this for nut allergies as well, but by a medical professional / allergist using oral immunotherapy or a peanut patch. To my knowledge, most of its use has been in clinic trials at this point. Also alarmingly, data from more than 1000 children who had taken part in oral immunotherapy trials found 22.2% of children who had exposure therapy experienced anaphylaxis attacks. So this certainly isn't something that should just be done in your home kitchen by untrained family members. That aside, no matter how you feel about immunotherapy, naturopathy or anything else mentioned, I was extremely angry they planned to do this behind my back. My husband's only defense, once again, was that he was just trying to appease his mother. That more or less he will always side with her and do what we can to make her happy. She is very unwell, she has diabetes as previously mentioned, and still does not use insulin or even metformin. In any case, I couldn't live like that anymore, I couldn't trust him anymore to be there for me and more importantly to protect our son. My utmost priority is and always has been to protect my son. So I proceeded to file for divorce. Everything is still in the working, so I won't touch on the legal side of stuff much. I am going for sole custody with my soon-to-be ex-husband getting supervised visitation. So that is that, there likely won't be an update in the future, there is not much else to say. I'm just ready to move on with my life and raise an amazing kiddo into an amazing young gentleman. But mostly I wanted to update to say thank you. I did get a lot of people condemning me, but the overwhelming majority of you were supportive. Thank you for sharing your personal anecdotes, for sharing excellent reading material on the subject and giving the best advice possible. This is a wonderful community and I hope anyone going through something similar can find solace in a forum like this. And guys, I would love to hear your opinion about this story. Do you think that OP overreacted or did she do the right thing? And in my opinion, she did absolutely the right thing by standing up for her son and not succumbing to that awful mother-in-law and spineless husband. Definitely big props to the mother here. And the last one, today I screwed up by smashing my mother-in-law through a glass table WWE style because I wanted to browse Reddit. This is one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever experienced in life. I know the title sounds clickbaity, but seriously, there were tables and ladders and Reddit involved. My wife and I moved to a town near her parents and her mother loves to come around to help us do stuff. It is like we have our own handyman. My wife will say something like, "Oh, we were thinking of painting our walls yellow," and my mother-in-law would be here with paint buckets and brushes. I don't know why she insists on this, but my wife is indulging her because we think she is just really bored. In any case, yesterday she was helping us wallpaper our walls and she absolutely insisted that she did it all herself instead of letting me do it, so I am stood there holding this rickety step ladder she's got as she aligns the patterns and does everything else. This went on for like a few hours where I literally just followed her around asking if I could help and being refused. I am quite bored at this point because she won't let me do anything, so I whip out my phone and I start reading this FU on this sub about some dude who whipped his boss's son's DICK with a microphone and I heard the ladder creak. Let me just help you visualize the room at this point. So my mother-in-law is doing the wall where my wife's vanity table normally is. It is this wood/glass top thing that we moved behind the ladder before we started doing the walls. The reason we did this is because my mother-in-law is using the vanity table to keep something like extra glue and some other tools handy. So anyway, as soon as I turn, my mother-in-law screaming, "Oh!" in that stereotypical old lady in trouble voice. She was a bit wobbly and maybe she would have been fine if I just left her alone to balance out on her own, but no. I was so distracted at the time I assumed she was in immediate danger, so I threw my phone to the ground and grabbed the ladder to steady it like I was supposed to the whole time. That seemed to have thrown her entirely off balance because I see her start to fall. I grab her by the legs, but I'm on the other side of the damn ladder, so it is quite an awkward rescue position. What happened was that I basically did some sort of wrestling move like a real flimsy Alabama slam, or at least something similar, and she came crashing down through the table. I'm not really that into wrestling, so I'm pretty sure there's a better move out there. I assumed the worst, but her injuries did not seem as serious as I would have expected them to be. She did not break any bones or anything, thank God, but she did get a few cuts and definitely a big bruise. She was refusing to go to the doctors last night, and I've been feeling so guilty about it, but at the same time, playing it back in my head is so comical. Luckily, my mother-in-law has a similar view on the whole thing. There is no love lost or anything. My wife and I have insisted on taking her to get herself checked out today, so while I wait for her to let me know when she's ready to leave, I thought I would share this moment with you. Edit, so after she spent all day doing more handiwork stuff at our place, we finally got her checked out, had an x-ray done, and she is all good. Nothing broken or cracked, and her bruise should subside in a day or two. I thought she hit her head on the edge of our bed, but there was no bump and it all seemed fine. The doctor was not amused, but he was pretty impressed that it wasn't worse as well. We got really lucky. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.